In this week's episode, I'm in none other than Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, a city of chaos, but I am here with a purpose.
Where are you taking me?
And that is to find fabrics, to find a tailor, and to get some custom dresses made that would suit my body type. Now, is this even successful? Do I like the dresses in the end? And was it worth all this time, effort, and money? Well, you're gonna have to find out.
No, it's crazy.
But first, a little why as to why I'm doing this video. Well, have you ever had your body change quickly and it's no longer quite the same? Well, for me, it's happened 3 times. Once larger, once smaller, and once larger again. Only one of these times was celebrated in my mind. An achievement. Yes to skinny. Yes to small. Yes to everything we've been force-fed. Yes to love, and to adornment, and to happy. How depressing, honestly. Especially when my first change came at an age when my whole life changed for the worst. When I was struggling to cope, when I was just 10 years old. And I've struggled ever since. Silent, but loudly in my head. What a waste. But after 10 years of being roughly the same size, my struggle intensified, for my body changed once again. And this time, I found it hard to tell what suits me, hard to find things that flatter, an ongoing struggle I have in my real life. Which brings me to the point of this video, custom clothes to my shape in, you guessed it, Vietnam. This concept is a blend of some of my favorite things. Finding fabrics I'm specifically drawn to, picking designs I know I love, and creating something custom to me. One-of-a-kind pieces that only I have. It also includes some things I hate, like trusting service providers, because I hate using service providers. But anyway, come join me on this exciting yet nerve-wracking adventure. Will I find the fabrics that I like? Will the tailor be any good? Will this even work out? Let's find out. But let's take it back a few days, because this journey started in Thailand, where we were for almost a month and a half. But our visa was running out for Vietnam, and so we decided it was time to haul our butts over to Ho Chi Minh City. We hopped on a plane, got these stunning views, and landed in what can only be described as complete chaos. On our first day out, we realized how wild, busy, and just populated Ho Chi Minh City was. I've never seen anything like it. So many scooters just going around all over the place. This is the first time we actually couldn't figure out how to cross the road. We had to Google it and look up directions on how to cross the road here. If you can believe it, it was wild. Our first stop, though, was to the fabric market, and I basically looked in, took one little look around, got too stressed out, and left and walked to the park that we walked by. And this park looked peaceful, a slice of heaven in this wildly busy, populated area. And this is where we saw something very peculiar, an outdoor gym. But it didn't seem like it was one that was only for, young people trying to build their muscles. This was people of all ages, focusing on flexibility and endurance. And honestly, if I lived around here, I would come and do these workouts. It was fun.
Are your feet supposed to be off the ground?
I think so.
People didn't really think twice at looking at me or anything, but I tested out all the machines, every single one, and it was so fun. You could really tell it was about mobility, flexibility, endurance, stretching. Oh, I loved it. I have never seen anything like this before, but I wish we had them in Canada. After a little mental health break in the park on day 1, we decided to head back over to the market.
Chaos.
And the way I saw that, there were a lot of these little street vendors. Like, look at these people sitting on the side of the road just eating from this lady who was serving them from her bike. Very, very cool. You don't see that in Canada, now do you? But anyway, now back over to the market.
Into the narrow alleys we go. What is this? Where are you taking me?
The fabric.
It's like a fabric dark market or something. Black market of fabrics.
Now, this is unlike anything I've ever experienced before, and I've been to some interesting markets, even all the way over in Africa, where my dad is from, but I've never quite seen something like this. Once you got to the fabric section, there was just fabric upon fabric upon fabric and vendor upon vendor. It was so cool. All the stalls were so jam-packed. You had to kind of squeeze your way in and around things. You could ask them to check out different types of materials. This is the first one I saw at the first stand, and I loved it. I thought it was boho. I thought it was pretty. And you think I got it? I sure did.
This will probably be enough to make something. No, it's crazy.
It's actually ridiculous. Look at that.
Unfortunately, we were a little bit late to the market that day, and the market closed. So we were on our way home, and I did successfully get at least something, which was that one type of material, and I did find a lining for it as well. But I did not come all the way to Vietnam just to make one dress. So you bet we had to head on out another day.
Day 2 fabric shopping.
Now, day 2 of fabric shopping was a lot more successful. We arrived a little bit earlier to the fabric market, and so all the vendors were open, and there was just so much selection. Now, it was still not without spending much time searching for exactly what I was looking for, because I was looking not only for specific types of fabrics, but also specific types of designs that particularly appealed to me. And you know me, I am fussy, I'm a bit particular, but I think it's just that I like what I like, and I want things to speak to me.
Killed it today.
Yeah, all the fabrics. And I am profusely sweating. You are too, actually. And that's,
A little bit, and
do you
I barely
see?
ever
I'm
sweat.
actually sweating.
Sweat stain.
And all seemed slightly well and positive until the stress hit later that night. I feel overwhelmed. Like, I would struggle with getting one thing made. How did I think I could get 4 things made? Even just replicating something that I already have, to my mind, is stressful. Let alone coming up with specific designs, which obviously I want to feel perfect, and I can't rush that. And I can't come up with the designs until I have the fabric. And now I have the fabric, and now I'm running out of days. And it's crazy here, and it's stressful here. And then the process of getting this stuff made and all those steps feels overwhelming. I think the thing is, right, because I know how to sew, all these pieces of fabric that I've like gone out and searched for, I'm kind of like attached to now. They're not just pieces of fabric, and I have a trouble with like trusting service providers. So it's like I feel too attached to it, and I'm nervous that when I give it over, it's not going to end up being what I want. And the opportunity cost is me taking the fabric home and doing something with it myself.
You have to be detached from it.
But I like the fabric.
If you take it home, I don't think you're gonna get to it in a long, long time. Then the fabric won't mean anything.
This is called a mid-project crisis.
Actually, though, it's like the initial phase before it's even close to happening. There's excitement around it. Then it comes to like, oh, now there's a deadline, and I gotta think of the designs. Then it comes to
even
like,
you're talking about it, and it's stressing me out.
The next day.
So we run into a little issue. For all the materials except for one, we got 2 meters, not 3. And then from a little bit more research and thinking, we totally need 3, at least 3 in all of them. So, fun. I guess we'll try and go and get some more, the same materials, and then head to the tailor.
So we decided, instead of venturing all the way out to the local fabric market, to instead just check out the tourist fabric market, which was across the street from us. And while there were many pretty things here, from fabrics to clothing to all sorts of bits and bobs, things were too expensive, and so we went back to the locals fabric market. And I just want to give a little shout out to this lady here, who I am following through the narrow little alleyways inside of this market to her specific spot, which was right in the center. And she just was so awesome. She actually made her whole trip because her energy and demeanor was so nice.
Same.
And the plus is she had all my fabrics, even though I didn't initially buy them from her. And look at this. She just disappeared into this little crack in the wall where she got our fabrics. We swapped some money. We bought the fabrics from her.
Thank you.
And now, with all our extra fabrics in tow, we can head to the tailor. And the goal is to have these made in a very short amount of time because, as you can see, there's signs that dresses can be made in just one day. But first, let me show you the materials that I ended up picking. So first we have this pretty orange and white floral material that I just loved. I think that can make a long, pretty dress. Then I have this more sophisticated red, green, and black sheer chiffon-ish fabric that I think can also make something very pretty. Next to that, I have that first material that I found with the embroidered detail all over. And my vision for this was something more boho, but you'll have to see what that ends up turning into. And finally, I have this cotton-esque material that's pink and floral. And as you can see, I have a thing for floral because all of these fabrics are indeed floral. In addition to all of that, I also have all of my lining fabrics, which you can see here. Now, to start things off, I'm actually just going to get one dress made in 24 hours because I'm a little bit anxious about working with a seamstress.
So I'm officially ready to start with the first dress, which is just going to be a replica using this fabric. Nervous? Yeah. Concerned it's not going to work out? Also, yeah. This is supposed to be stress-free and exciting and fun.
So I did a quick little Google search and found the best tailor around my area. And there are many, and she was supposed to be the best. So I went on in, and in literally a matter of 5 minutes, I tried on my existing dress. I told her what I wanted to change, which was just to make the sleeves a little bit looser. She told me that she would pre-wash the fabric that I brought in before starting to sew, and made sure that she checked the measurements and the fabric that I got to make sure that enough was in tow. And this step was indeed very quick, very reassuring, and put my mind at ease.
That was oddly
Cool.
and easy, but also like,
She knew her shit.
yeah, she did. If that type of like, well, yeah, and she was thorough too, and she spoke English, so that was good. So
It's tempting to just go with her for the
I
second one as well.
know. No, I'll come back for another one, but I need to figure out
That
the
was
design.
like
What?
pretty easy.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, did I get my shirts made?
After a quick 24 hours, we were back walking across the street and down the way to the Tailor. Now this time it was raining and it was a little bit chaotic here, you know, walking around, especially in the rain, but alas, we were there and I was ready to enter into the makeshift changing room, which was actually right in front of the toilet, even though I didn't realize that. And I put my stuff on the floor. Yikes. Anyway, we were back and voila.
Looks just like it.
I thought at this point that the dress was perfect. But then I realized that the sleeves were a little bit off. One did not match the other. And she noticed it right away and she said she would finish it. I also didn't really love the buttons, which she said she would swap out as well.
So initially I had a plan to take my dress designs and my fabric to 2 separate tailors. However, we're kind of running out of time. Today is Saturday at like almost 4 and we're supposed to be leaving on Monday. And we gave it 7 days to try and figure all this stuff out. We had some hiccups in between. But yeah, so I think the new plan is, I have 3 more types of material that I got. And I'm just gonna take them to the same tailor, cross my fingers and hope for the best. Today was our Nakat day.
Yes, it was blessed. Hashtag.
Okay, so the truth of the matter is, this was all fun and games up until this point, because this is when it literally started getting chaotic. She had to take out the tape measure and measure every single measurement pretty much on my body. She was asking me so many questions, from how thick exactly I wanted the sleeves to be, to how low I wanted the neckline to be, to how wide I wanted the neckline to be, to every single question on fit. I did give her some mock-ups of things I was looking for. So she had the inspiration photos and kind of like the replicas with details I was looking to create. This woman actually does have a whole team of tailors upstairs that work and create these pieces. But here were my thoughts right after.
That was chaotic.
She was on one. She was like...
She seems stressed. Right?
She's like, I gotta do 3 dresses in one day. 3 dresses.
It says tailoring in one day.
That is true.
That was so stressful.
She was so stressed that she wanted you to only do 2 dresses.
No. She wasn't saying just do 2 dresses.
She was like,
she was saying,
no,
she was saying, you can do 3 dresses, I'll do 2 with that one fabric.
Oh, you had enough?
I guess.
Oh.
A moment for what takeout looks like here in Vietnam and also in Thailand, by the way. But this is soup in a bag, which is how I will eat it. This is chili sauce in a bag. This is my Hainanese chicken rice, which was oh so delicious. Everything always comes with like a cucumber or something to nibble on. And yeah, it's fun eating that soup from the bag. It seems so foreign to me, but hey, it works.
So this is round 2. I'm going in for my first fitting for the 3 dresses that I gave in yesterday. My confidence level, my nerves, they're there. But we'll just have to see. Round 2.
And as much as I was excited, I'm not as excited as I was to specifically see this cat that I ended up being very allergic to. Look at it, it's so cute until it climbs up on all the fabrics and stuff, which maybe explains why I felt such allergies after. Anyway, so dress 1. This is how it turned out first round. I liked it. I thought it fit well, but I thought it also was giving a little bit of Little House on the Prairie for some
nice.
reason. Specifically, I felt like the neckline was a little bit too high and rounded. Something just was a little bit off.
She pinned it here, which I think will be good, more feminine.
Now, dress 2, on the other hand, I'm sure you can see from my face, I was not so impressed by, to be honest. There were many things that just didn't quite seem right about this. From the bust area just being ill-fitting, to the waist area also being ill-fitting, to the shape of the bottom of the skirt just wasn't what I even asked for. The tie sleeves were nowhere near long enough. This just wasn't what I was going for, full stop. But thankfully, I convinced her to do all sorts of pinning and adjustments to the shape of it so that hopefully when I come back tomorrow, it will be more like what I had envisioned. So this one I think is perfect. Don't you think? I love this one. My old faithful Old Navy, only with my custom fabric. What can I say?
That was so chaotic. I'm amazed at how much like the little knit tuck pins she did. That could completely change that second dress because it was looking rough when I put it on. Let me tell you, it looked so rough. She changed the whole design of the top. So hopefully it'll look good tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. You really have to argue for what you want, like, and show insistent, like. Yeah, and she was saying like, she was like, oh no, how can I do that? And I'm like, and then I show the picture and she's like, oh, okay, let me pin it. Always advocate for yourself. Like how people eat here. I'm nervous. Perfect.
I'm going to save you from your own misery. I'll just let you know that there were many more nips, tucks, pins, adjustments, sleeves becoming too long, and then too low in the back, and then further adjustments.
Every time I leave the tailor, I'm so stressed. This was the third fitting and still changes, and we leave tomorrow. Actually, we were supposed to leave today and we had to extend by a day because we weren't done. But service providers, I tell you, they stress me out. I don't like to give feedback, and I don't like to start off as a hard ass. And I feel like if you start off as a hard ass, that's when it's easier to deal with service providers. But I don't like doing that. Do I? Do you, huh? Do you?
No, I don't.
Stress.
Well, this was my very last fitting, and they were doing the final little adjustments while we just spent the day hanging out by the pool. A moment for these palm trees that are in fact many stories up on this building. How they do it, I don't know. We got some mocktails, which were for free, that we've been putting off getting from the hotel all week. And finally, we could turn back around, head to the tailor, and pick up my final dresses. And I can now show you what they look like. Dress 1, so pretty, so smooth. Dress 2, dress 3, well, okay, let me actually take you back to our hotel room so I can give you a good look. Dress 1 turned out so beautiful. The fabric was absolutely stunning. The fit was perfect. The sleeves were oh so cute. It was fluttery and romantic. Dress 2, it still wasn't what I was going for, but it's a pretty dress, just not what I wanted. Dress 3, well, this one is so great. I'm so glad that I got the neckline adjusted a little bit. I love the details for the sleeves, the flowiness of the tiered silhouette. It just looks so pretty. And finally, the first dress that I actually made. This dress is perfection. I got them to swap out the buttons to be these shell kind of design. And I love this one.
Also, there was a cat there. I like cats. The cat was very cute, but the allergies are real, so just a heads up.
So, a moment for my final thoughts. Would I recommend doing custom dresses if you're in Vietnam? The answer is yes, under 2 scenarios. One, if you have a dress already and you want to replicate it, 100% yes. I think that is very low risk and very low stress. If you have a custom design, that is where it gets finicky. So if you are someone that is not very picky or particular or detail oriented or specific, then go for it with a custom design. Otherwise, it might be a little bit more stressful than you're thinking. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. This was a dream kind of experience for me, and I'm glad to take you along.